Thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show on a Wednesday edition because tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I am Nikki Maduro. She is Kim McAllister on the other side, who is in Disneyland, if you can't notice from the fireworks and the gorgeous ears. And thank you so much for popping in on the show. And
happy
early
almost.
Thanksgiving to everybody. And thank you all for being here. Click the thumbs up button. We do also have our cocktails. If you thought that we weren't going to do cocktails and news, it's Wednesday. It's 5 o'clock. Yes, we are having our cocktails. Kim McAllister in Disneyland. Yeah. What are you drinking, my friend? Even though I know that you're in Disneyland and it probably cost you a very pretty penny.
This, my friend, is a $20 cocktail. But it comes in a plastic commemorative cup, which I didn't need. This is called a Piranha Pool. Okay. I wrote down what's in it. It's solely strawberry vodka blended with pineapple juice, cream of coconut, strawberry puree, and blue curacao. Is that how you say that?
Curacao is how you say it. I like it. Yeah. It sounds delicious.
It's got a pineapple and a little umbrella, and it's a blended drink, and it is delicious.
It is
$20,
delicious.
Maybe not, but
sometimes
pretty good.
You need alcohol. I am a full alcohol in the amusement park to get you through. Not getting drunk though. I know in Disney. What is it? In Disney World, they have the whole
beer around the world.
Yeah, and I think that's a little too much. I've never done Disney World, but I do think that can kind of get out of hand. Eric says there are a few places inside Disneyland you can actually buy alcohol. California Adventure, on the other hand.
I think they just started selling it in Star Wars Land as well.
Yeah, I think they do have some place. But you know what?
So here's something I found out.
Okay.
And have partaken in.
Okay.
They have at Trader Sam's Tiki Bar, which is right downstairs, the Dole Whip. And you can choose whether you would like your Dole Whip to be sitting in a bath of coconut rum or Myers dark rum.
There you go. Your husband's listening. Your husband's listening.
Yes. And I'm like, what? So I got the coconut rum, and oh my God, it's good. I was going to get that, but I didn't want to sit here and eat a Dole Whip in front of you as it melted. So
oh my God.
I went with a Piranha Pool. But wow. They don't sell that in the park, but they sell it at the Tiki Bar downstairs. And I'm telling you, Dole Whip with rum. Yes, please.
I love Dole Whip. It was one of my favorite things to get in Disneyland. I got two. I'm telling you, and we went in the summertime when it was hotter than heck. It lives up to the reputation. And I swear, like you'll go to like in downtown Campbell, they have an ice cream shop next to this Starbucks and they say Dole Whip. It's not the same. There is something in Disneyland. I don't know, magic or something. It doesn't taste the same. It's something different about Disneyland Dole Whip. It is so good. You, SJ, Lola, Vicky. Yeah, it is. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because you're spending Disneyland dollars. I don't know. It just tastes so much better in Disneyland. I don't know.
I don't know
it's
if you
just
can
delicious.
see this. This is
the
pair
ears.
Of Mickey ears I was looking at. They're Dole Whip ears. Each ear is a pineapple slice with a green bow and a Dole Whip pin in the middle.
I love it. I
didn't buy it, but it was cute. It was cute enough that I took a picture of it.
Are those ears that you brought with you that you've had before, or are those ones you bought?
I've had these for a long. These are like my rose gold ears that I've had for a long time. I have another pair of ears. I don't know where they went. Hold on.
I love the fireworks behind Kim as well. I mean,
I have another pair of ears. These are my favorites.
Okay, let's see.
These are my Aloha ears.
Yes,
very Hawaiian.
Out? Yeah, let's see. Let's see them both. Look how cute she is. Yeah. Look how adorable Kim is.
I've had these for a while though. This is
I love it. Exactly. You have to save the ears because I mean they cost you so much money. I'm telling you, the best thing that I ever spent money on at Disneyland the last time I went was a frame. You know, because they take the pictures. Yeah. And then I got this frame for like, I think $15. And I was like, done. Absolutely done. Now, if you hear some commotion in the background, what we're doing here in the Maduro household is my daughter is baking for tomorrow. She's making a dessert. What are we calling it, my daughter? What are you making? What's it called? Okay, it's some sort of bark. I'm putting bark in quotes. What is it called? She has it on a. So here it is. It has Ritz crackers, then chocolate, then pretzels, then caramel, and then apples.
And then there's gonna be chocolate on top.
And then there's gonna be chocolate on top of the apples. So
Why am I
she's made
seeing,
this.
like, is there some kind of marshmallow going on?
No, that's apples. Those are
Okay.
Granny Smith apples. It smells
Ooh,
delicious. Okay. Thank you, Marley.
that looks amazing.
It does. So it smells like chocolate in my house right now. So she's doing that.
Nice.
So that's what she's making. I am going to be making my viral. Remember my candy cake crescent roll, no bake
Oh,
cheesecake
yeah.
thing that went
Mm-hmm.
viral. I had like a
Yeah.
million plus views. I'm remaking that again.
Okay.
If you haven't seen it, go back on my social media. I'm making that again. My husband like tried to make. He's like, make this German apple cake that had 15 ingredients, and I was like, I kind of liked my crescent roll no bake cheesecake 3 ingredient thing. That was very, 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 very easy. I think we're going to be doing that again. So that's what we're making, and we're just going
That's
over to my
awesome.
mother-in-law's tomorrow for Turkey Day. So it's going to be a fabulous Thanksgiving, and I thank all of you for being here. Eric says I have my Thanksgiving dinner all ready to go. Oh,
Box of sadness sitting in my freezer. No.
No, you guys. No. I will say this. Oh, yeah, exactly, Ricky. Your house smells like chocolate. You are so lucky. It does.
Mhm.
Marley's been melting chocolate. It smells like chocolate in my house. It
So
just,
good.
it so does. I will say this, though. I woke up this morning and this whole idea of Thanksgiving and just now, again, I think we've moved past, especially in recent years and for quite a while, this idea of the what we grew up with, the story of Thanksgiving, right? The Pilgrims, the Mayflower, and I'm going to say Indians and that whole thing, right?
Mhm.
We've moved past that, right? Because we understand the true history of, the Native Americans and from their perspective. And even though, yes, that story exists and it did, we understand the true kind of horrifying story and what happened, within a generation of them arriving on land where people already were. But I just feel like with this whole like deportation rhetoric that's happened, does anyone else feel weird about just the idea of that whole past story about Thanksgiving, about people coming to this country and sitting down and breaking bread with people that have just arrived, and just the load of crap that story was, and knowing that in a handful of months, not even in a couple of months, the rhetoric, the really terrible rhetoric that is going to be spewing from this administration, I just don't know how we're going to go. Like literally, Kim, I don't know how we're going to go from the holiday season into January. Like it is going to be the quickest case of whiplash from, love your brothers and sisters. Oh, the holiday spirit to F those people. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty much what it's going to be.
You
And
walk around
I don't know.
Disneyland and you go to the restaurants or you go into the stores or whatever. Everyone is a different race. There's people here from everywhere. A lot of people I tend to chit chat with people a lot. You know me. And so a lot of people I talk to are from Southern California and they've come here from other countries and other places. This affects so many people. And I have to say that I don't normally advocate turning away from news because I think it's important to know what's going on in the world.
Of course.
It shapes how we approach everything, right? But this time I think it might be different. I think there's not much we can do about things. And the news isn't going away. So if you, unlike me, because I have to know, right? I have to look and I have to watch.
Of course.
Kind of my
We have to keep up on our current events.
But if you don't have to, then for the next couple of months, check out of the news, right? And then you catch up all at once and you are outraged and it's horrible. And then you can check out for a couple of weeks again. I think we have to preserve our mental health. I remember the last time Trump was in office and it was like, I would wake up every day going, what outrageous text did he dump on us overnight? What crazy thing is happening now?
Yep.
And I see it already starting. It's nearly intolerable for me, and I'm into news and I have to know. But for everybody else, like you don't have to put yourself through this psycho crap every single day. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Join us on Thursdays at 5 and we'll fill you in. That's all you need. We'll be outraged. We'll
Grab
laugh
a
about it.
cocktail. Exactly.
And then have a cocktail and then move on about your week. But don't immerse yourself in it like last time.
It's
not
it's going to be hard. And the
Yeah.
thing is, but I just kept thinking about, like, we're in the holiday season, right? And, you know, people are hanging. I drive around my neighborhood, and I don't know about your neighborhood. And I know that Thanksgiving people start putting their Christmas lights up. It's way before. I mean, their lights are up. They've been up. I feel like people are like, we need the holiday spirit.
It's like during COVID when people left their lights up, like, bring me some joy.
Exactly. People just need it. But again, I just feel like it's going to be Christmas and then January, and it's the inauguration. I'm going to play you this clip. And this is Tom Homan, your new border czar. Okay. And okay. And I'm going to preface this before I play it, and CNN's going to say it as well. It's this idea of rhetoric, right? And will rhetoric be enough, right, to prevent people from wanting to come over the border and blah, blah, blah. But this is what's going to be coming. This is just the kind of the words that are going to be said. But my concern is calling the bluff, right? Like, when the words aren't enough, who's going to call the bluff? Who's going to blink first? Here we go. Oh, here, let's play it.
Be clear. There is going to be a mass deportation because we just finished a mass illegal immigration crisis on the border. This is a felony to knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien to immigration authorities. Don't test us.
President-elect Donald Trump's new border czar, Tom Homan, laying out his day one plans for the new administration. Homan traveled to Texas on Tuesday, meeting with Governor Greg Abbott and delivering a message to Texas National Guard members. Texas government leaders are moving to get more aggressive on immigration in recent days. They have ordered more barrier buoys onto the Rio Grande River, like the ones seen last year. The Biden administration had sued to get those barriers removed. Not every local leader is signing up for the promises of cracking down on migrants. Denver's mayor says his city would resist extreme measures, drawing the ire of Tom Homan this week.
If they want to focus on violent criminals, we would be happy to help support pursuing, arresting, and deporting them. So if they are going to send the U.S. Army or the Navy SEALs into Denver to pursue folks to pull them off the job at hotels or restaurants where they're working, or pull kids off the soccer field, I think we will see Denverites and folks around the country who will nonviolently resist that.
Me and the Denver mayor, we agree on one thing. He's willing to go to jail. I'm willing to put him in jail.
Oof. Mike Dubke, I mean, look, it's very clear the country is very unhappy with the way immigration has been playing out. They're concerned about the security at the border. Where do you think the Trump administration, and how can they stay with Americans on that without, I mean, some of the measures they're talking about, I mean, that language of, like, if you harbor somebody, we will find you. You know, if the Denver mayor wants to go to jail, I mean, that has some significant and more extreme echoes than some of what we heard from the Trump campaign on the trail.
There are several stages to kind of arresting, and I should choose a different word, but arresting immigration at the border. One of which that worked incredibly well in the early days of the first Trump administration was the rhetoric, and this is going to be my theme, I think, for today, was the rhetoric around the border. So Tom Homan's very strong language is going to restrict and impede the number of people that are actually flooding the border.
You're saying it's going to discourage people from trying
totally
to come?
Discourage that.
Now, that's my question. Do you think that words are going to be enough? And on that note, if they're not, if Trump voters, do you think Trump voters are wanting to see the mass deportation? Do you really think Trump voters want to see the pulling of people from homes, pulling from people from, the farms, from the soccer fields? I mean, is that what these Trump voters actually want to see, to actually have Trump keep his promise?
Yes. I think that's true. I think I'm not saying all Trump voters are racist, but I think that we have that element. And I think there's a lot of them that want to see the others have bad things happen to them. That they somehow are unhappy in their own lives. They don't feel like they have enough money. They don't feel like they have enough success. They have now successfully been allowed to put that blame on the backs of others and target and put their anger all on these other people. And so, yes, I think they want to see bad things happen to people. People, by the way, most of them that are not criminals, that are coming here for a better life. And if they were upset about their grocery bill, well, I can tell you that while it's not right that all of these agriculture jobs and picking of fruits and the seriously manual labor positions are mostly filled with migrants. And those, Americans won't most of the time take those backbreaking jobs.
No, they're not going to, or they would already be filled by Americans.
So we'll either have shortages, or they're going to have to pay people more if they can even find people to fill the jobs, in which case all the produce is going up, the prices are going to go up, and isn't that what you were trying to avoid in the first place? And don't even get me started on tariffs.
And, oh God, the tariffs alone, I don't even understand. The interviews between Trump and then Canada. Yeah, don't go ahead. Trump, Canada, Mexico, and China. I mean, these conversations, the trade wars that are going to be going on, again, rhetoric, right? The consequences of this rhetoric. We don't even know. We don't even know exactly what products they're talking about that are involved in the trade wars or the tariff wars. We don't even know what kind of people are going to be caught up in the deportation war that Trump is talking about. That's the problem with rhetoric, right? Like, what are we talking about? How's it really going to look? And what does he really mean? And Cheryl says, yes, they do. I think they need to see how it affects us here in the country. I hate it, but some people need to learn hard lessons. You're right, Cheryl. I saw a headline where it said something to the effect of Trump voters in farm country are begging Trump not to deport their workers. That's a bit of a FAFO, right? An F around and find out kind of situation. It's like, well, this is what you voted for. Who do you think Trump was talking about? Who do you think he's talking about when he's talking about migrants or illegal immigrants? Where do you think these people are? He can talk about, they're drug dealers and the rapists, but that's just rhetoric. That's just lies. We know intellectually and factually that immigrants that come to this country, undocumented immigrants, pay taxes, they work hard, they contribute, right? That's what we know.
Here's something else we know. When they pay taxes, they pay into the Social Security system. Yeah.
Yep.
A system that's on the brink of collapse anyway. What happens when there's no immigrants to pay into that system? Because they pay in and they don't collect, which basically props up Social Security.
Yeah.
So here they are in this country paying into this system, getting, whether they use, fake Social Security numbers or not, they're paying in. Then they're not collecting on the back end. So it's the Americans that are collecting that money. So there's something else that is not long.
Well, Kim, you've frozen a little bit there, but you're absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it was going to be if Kamala Harris was elected, it was something like Social Security would be not funded in 8 years, but with all Trump's plans, it would be something like 4 years. So we're hastening its demise.
Exactly. Yeah. And also the problem is, and Rev P says the Trump administration will focus on blue states like California when it comes to mass deportation policy. He wants to damage his enemies. Well, let's talk about farmers. We produce so much food for the country that go ahead. Like, not to mention our economy in and of itself, right? How much we fund for this country. It's as if we don't understand how this country is funded, how this country even works, and the contributions that immigrants give. It is so much that people are blinded by their own racism that they don't understand it. And it's so stupid. I got into this kind of online conversation with a woman and she was based out of Arizona. She didn't understand what you were just talking about, Kim, with the Social Security and undocumented immigrants. How do they get away with it? I tried to not be, sarcastic with her. She's like, I don't understand how they get away with it if they don't have a Social Security. And I'm like, it's the white American employer that looks the other way, that exploits the undocumented immigrant, that overworks them. They take their papers that are obviously fake, the fake Social Security number, overworks them, uses them for overtime, doesn't pay them, and then holds it over their head because they know damn well they're not going to report them because they'll get deported.
That's right.
That's how they do it. They exploit these people. And then what do? They screw them over come voting time and say, oh, yeah, deport the guy. And then they screw themselves in the back end anyway. It's so effing stupid, Kim. People just, they boggle my mind. They just boggle my mind.
I thought Trump was on the side of the small business person.
Yeah, right.
Because during COVID, the whole pandemic, we saw restaurants were closing down because they didn't have enough workers.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is going to happen when you come in the middle of the night and you take the dishwasher and the prep cook and the wait staff and all the people that make these small businesses function in our communities?
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
Exactly.
They're all going to close. I mean, I don't know. Are you going to get a job working as a restaurant server? I would if I had to.
Right? For the pay that he doesn't want to give people, for the enormous pay that they don't want to pay people, right? Because the federal minimum wage is crap, right? Like where do these things line up? How much the federal government wants to pay people? Let's get rid of the cheap labor. Like none of it is adding up. None of it is adding up. No. This is not how we've ever run this country, and not even saying that it's fair. Like our country isn't run fairly for all levels of people anyway. And now the one area that's not even fair, right? The use of undocumented immigrants, which prop up this system that isn't fair, we want to get rid of. And it's the system that actually holds it up.
Here's the thing, is Trump knows this because he runs businesses. Right? He's had to give special visas for wait staff and hotel staff and servers to come into this country.
He's exploited so many people.
He can't find people. So he knows how it works. I don't understand. And if you wanted to say, all right, the way we're doing it is wrong. We're exploiting people. Right. They're paying into a system. They're getting nothing, but not as much as they should get back.
Right.
Let's change things. Let's have a more robust visa work program where you're here legally working, what have you. Right. Let's change the rules. I might be on board with that. I might say sure.
Yes.
But if you're just talking about rounding people up and sending them back, regardless of what type of contributing member they are to society, or stopping people that have brown skin or the last name of Gutierrez or whatever it may be, because we feel somehow that could be an illegal, undocumented person. It's ugly.
Yeah, with no other plan in place either, with nothing else, like with no other plan. That's the whole thing. He probably has a concept of a plan.
And states, like we just saw the mayor in Denver, but states that fight back, now they're saying we'll withhold federal monies from you, whether that's money for school, whether that's money for wildfire, what, they're going to withhold federal money if we don't play ball and say, sure, bring in the military, round them up and send them home.
And this is why tensions are so high.
Yeah.
I mean, look what's happening right now. So several of President-elect Donald Trump's cabinet picks and administration employees have been targets of quote unquote violent threats, bomb threats, swatting. Elise Stefanik's home has been the target of swatting. This happened, I think, yesterday. A number of people have had these threats going on. And then this Arizona man has just been charged with threatening to kill Donald Trump. His name is Manuel Tamayo Torres. He's been accused of posting almost on a near daily basis, which isn't the smartest thing in the world, threats against the president. I mean, so obviously this is, we kind of laugh, but again, I feel like he is not even in the White House, Kim. This is what it feels even more heightened. Do you understand what I'm saying? And now what are we going to do? Now what are we going to do? Now we're going to add to it this rhetoric. Now, not only is the rhetoric bad, but just what you were talking about, anyone with brown skin, and I'm sorry, I have brown skin.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
better carry your driver's license and
what am I
your
supposed
birth
to do,
certificate
right?
with you.
Right? It's like I have family members with brown skin. And how dark do I have to be? You know, because there's light-skinned, you know, Hispanic, Latin people. Like, what are we talking about? And then we're tainting just even the idea of someone that looks of a different skin. Like, it's just, we've gone so effing backwards. I can't even believe it's going to be 2025.
So I'm
it's
whiter
crazy.
than white can be. Are you any more of an American than I am? No.
Right. I can't believe we've learned nothing from history. I seriously can't believe it's going to be 2025 and we're talking about this. I can't wrap my mind around it. And yet I feel like this is a lesson that this generation needs a big slap in the face for, I guess. You know, it's like, maybe this is what we need. Obviously, because we put this asshat back in the White House. Overwhelmingly, again.
No.
We put him back in the White House.
No. I understand today that he only beat Kamala Harris by like 1.15%. So it's not the mandate everybody thinks. He's calling it a mandate because he's got the House and he's got the Senate.
Right.
And we all know he's got the Supreme Court in his back pocket. But if you look at the numbers, he really didn't wallop her in the election. He really didn't beat her to the point that everyone thought on election night. The more the votes tallies come in, the more we see it really is almost even. And
really?
That's why it gives me hope.
Well, that gives me better hope then.
I know that almost half of America voted on the right side of history. I know there's as many people in this country are good and will protect each other and will stand up for each other as are ugly at their black soul. That's what I think.
Well, and I do have a semi-correction to make. So last week we were debating about Matt Gaetz and you were saying, no, Matt Gaetz isn't going back to Congress. And I said, he could go back to Congress. Now I have a bit of a correction. Now he could have, he had a chance to, but he has said within the past, I think 5 days, he's not going to. There was, I had said 100% he could go back. There was a question he could have said that he was not going to. And there was a question of whether or not. But I guess 5 days ago, he said, I am not going to. Whatever Trump wants me to do, I will. But I will not be going back to Congress. So, Kim, your gift has been given. And Gaetz is never going, I guess, not going back to Congress. So there, be something to be thankful for.
How bad must that ethics report have been for him to be like, that's okay. You guys go ahead without me. You don't need me to come back. Like, how awful. Like, what nasty dirt was in there?
I just feel like, again, if you can't hang out at Trump's table, it was bad.
How bad does that have to be?
How bad does it have to be that you can't hang out with Trump, who grabbed a woman by the pee and said it on tape? Like, how much of a perv do you gotta be, Gaetz? You know what I mean? You know what I think? You want to know the truth, Kim? I don't even think it has anything to do with that. I think people just don't like him. I really think he's extremely unlikable because I really don't think that Trump has any problem with any sort of essay. I really think that he doesn't give a crap. I really don't. That's my opinion. I don't think Trump gives a crap if it's because I think that Trump doesn't care if it's a 17-year-old. I'm sorry. He was on Epstein's plane. I do not give a crap. I don't think Trump cares. I think that Matt Gaetz is extremely unlikable. And that's the problem.
Dude. Nobody wants him around. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that people don't like him.
We have Marty, who I think is must be from abroad, some other country. He said, I don't have any hope left for your nation. To which I would say to you, you know what, Marty? The next 4 years are going to suck.
Or they're going to be great and we're going to learn our lesson. You know what I mean? I don't like to be, down in the dumps, but we have to learn a lesson. We need a good spanking. You know what I mean?
You know what it is? It's nothing that can't be undone.
Exactly.
Right? And it's 4 years and we're going to come back. We're going to come out of this stronger.
Vicky has the best, and we will rise again.
Yeah,
like the
it's
phoenix.
Absolutely. So
Exactly.
don't lose faith in us completely, Marty, because we're not done.
Because
This
there's
is
more people
4
like
years.
us. There's
This
more
is
people like us.
a pothole in our American road. We'll get over it.
You know, we've stepped in S before. We'll get it off the curb and we'll keep on trucking, Marty. That's what I got to say. I mean, it sucks.
My God.
I'm telling
Calvin's
you, it sucks.
probably right. He'll work alongside a Hegseth.
Oh,
Gates
you
will
know,
work at
I
Fox
bet you
News,
you're
says Calvin.
absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
You're so
Yeah.
right. He probably already has something lined up. He already probably has something. Not Newsmax. Oh, wait, yeah. He probably has something. He's probably going to be Tucker Carlson's like buddy or something. You know what I mean? Like he has, you know, him and MTG. I don't know. Are they friends? I can't even keep track who likes each other and who doesn't on that. But I'm just saying, Matt Gaetz is extremely unlikable. And who wants to look at that face every day? You know what I mean? That's a face only a mother can love. That's all I have to say. So
I don't even know if a mother can love that one.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about his mother, but
think about their moms, like Matt Gaetz's mom and Hegseth's mom.
Well, look at Jesse Waters' mom. He's not invited to Thanksgiving dinner. Jesse Waters from Fox News, he was disinvited to Thanksgiving dinner. Jesse Waters, his own mother, said, you can keep your ass at home. So, you know, there is something to be said to, I don't need to listen to your BS. I see it on TV every day. I don't need your ass coming to dinner. So,
yeah. Oh, God. They must think, God, did I raise them wrong? I mean, they're accused of sexual assault. They're being so awful to the world. Like, I want my, you know,
where did I go wrong?
We want our kids to go out in the world and make a good, positive difference, not like, you know, drag us all down. What's going on?
Okay, I will say this, and this is, I know that there are some people that completely buy into the Kool-Aid, right? They drink it, they believe it with all their soul. I truly believe there is a bigger piece of the pie that sincerely does it just for the money. I honestly do. I think that there are and I'm going to say this, I think it's more conservatives than liberals. Maybe there are. I just feel maybe that's my bias showing, and I will own that. I will totally own it. This could be my bias showing. And I'll just say that. But I truly feel that these conservative hosts know they're full of shit, but they want the paycheck. They want it. Yeah. I think that's why you see RFK Jr., that's why you see JD Vance saying one thing 4 or 5 years ago and then being like, I changed. No, you didn't change your ways, asshole. You have a job lined up. That's the truth. No. And all these people are like, no, it's because they learned. They educated themselves. No, they didn't. I mean, and people that think that, I think that you're a moron. So that's my bias showing. I will completely own it. I will completely own that could be my bias showing. But I think that JD Vance and RFK Jr. got offered jobs and then decided to change their viewpoints because they were offered jobs. That is what I truly believe.
We know that RFK Jr. offered his endorsement to the person who was offering him the best deal.
Yes.
Right? He went to Harris and he went to Trump.
He said it.
Right. He said it.
So I'm sorry. And now I'm not going to say everybody. I think that there are people that few and far between, in my opinion. And you know what? I think that I'm honest when I preface everything by saying this could be my bias. I just wish that people would give me at least my cookie for at least owning the fact that it's my bias. But I truly believe that people like JD Vance and RFK Jr. sold their soul for a job and a paycheck.
Yeah.
I just do. Some people buy it. I just think most people don't. I think they just want to get paid. I do.
And then there's you can't fix stupid, right? Rev writes, I was listening to a cast yesterday where a family voted together. Their 18-year-old black son voted for Trump. His reason was that America can't be run by a black woman. And this is the current generation, he writes.
Well, whatever. Wow. And he's entitled to, I will say this. Yeah. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. Now, if you are a black person and you believe that a country cannot be run by another black person or a black woman of the opposite sex, I think you really need to ask yourself what it is about yourself or your race that you do not like about yourself. That's my opinion. I mean, there must be something that you have been taught about yourself or your race or your neighborhood, fill in the blank, whatever we're talking about. And that's been taught to you. Now you should, have a come to Jesus moment about that and ask yourself, why do I feel that way? Have I learned? Maybe something's happened to you. right? Like, because that could also be a reason. Maybe there's a Black woman that hurt this guy, or maybe every interaction he's ever had with a Black woman has been negative. I have no idea. But to say something like that, to paint with that broad of a brush, he's wrong.
Ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, give me a break.
Maybe just another boy raised to be a misogynist. How sad.
Exactly. RFK Jr. 2 for 1. Him and the brain. Exactly. Like, again, the things that have come out of RFK Jr.'s mouth, and he's in a position, of power, like any sort of power, like, and then people are like, yeah, that makes sense.
No.
Dr. Oz, like we talked about this before during, all the laundry listing of cabinet appointments. The Surgeon General, what was the woman that was named the U.S. Surgeon General? Hold on, her schooling, she was from, hold on, I think I'm right. Trump's pick for U.S. Surgeon General went to the school of, I think it was like the School of the Caribbean or something. Not knocking the School of the Caribbean, but I'm just saying, like, we have someone from Harvard, not knocking the school. It was like some obscure school, right? Like, I don't know. It's just like, why can't we choose more mainstream things? You see what I'm saying? Like,
he did pick someone. I want to say it's for the National Institutes of Health, who was a doctor from Stanford. Okay. But the person
is like a COVID critic or something, right?
Yeah, that made a big splash about herd immunity. They believed in herd immunity.
Right.
So they believe that people should, I don't know, get sick and then be immune because they're sick, and that's how we're going to get over COVID.
Right. And again, and I will also say this, Kim, he wasn't alone in that, right? So he was saying the younger people that were a lower risk should just go out and play, basically, and older people. Now, my problem back then and now with that idea was, and always will be, those people going out to play could come home to the immunocompromised.
Right.
There was no way to separate those. That was my problem with it. If there was a way of making sure that those young, safer people could be kept away from the immunocompromised, fine, but there was no way. We commingle. Right? How do you keep grandma away from young, safe person? You can't. So that was my problem with this idea of herd immunity. And
and we know from President Obama that, speaking just a month or so ago, right, before the election, that Canada's death rates for COVID, because they handled it differently, were much less than ours. He said there were so many people in America that died as a result of Trump not taking this seriously that didn't need to.
Exactly.
And so if you look at the numbers, that kind of thinking is obviously wrong. And all I can hope is that in the next 4 years, we've already suffered through our pandemic and we don't have another one.
Yeah. I mean, and again, because of the people that we have in charge. Another person that's in charge, and here's another thing, like the Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, Doge, Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, Doge. It's so childish. It boggles my mind. Which again, government efficiency, they want to cut government, like make government more efficient by creating its own kind of new thing, which I find ironic. So here's the thing. And just remember this moment. I do believe that there is a lot of waste in government. I do. I believe that there are probably a ton of jobs that don't need to exist in government. That is true. I bet you there's so many people that are paid in government that don't need to be. I will agree with you. I will agree with Donald Trump and many people that have said it, that there are jobs that we should probably go through and say, that's not needed, that's redundant. But many people have said that, right? Yeah. Do I trust Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to determine who those people are? Not as far as I can throw them. And do you want to know why? It is for this reason, that they have blasted the names of the people in those positions publicly. That is one of the main reasons why. They're children. They can't handle positions of power. So if you haven't heard, they have publicized the names that they would recommend to be cut from the federal government. And just guess what has happened to those people. They're getting death threats.
Yep.
I mean, think about this. This is why I don't trust people like Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, and the like, is because you give them just one drop of power and they don't know what to do with it.
Right.
So Musk has reposted 2 X posts that reveal the names and titles of people holding 4 relatively obscure climate-related government positions. Each post, because he artificially, boosts his own posts on X because he's that immature. Each post has been viewed tens of millions of times, and the individuals' names have been subjected to a barrage of negative attention, and at least one of the 4 women named has had to delete her social media accounts. Several current federal employees have told CNN they're afraid their lives will be forever changed. They've been physically threatened. I mean, think about this. I mean, and it has one, they aren't even in office yet.
No.
This is only
This is pre.
This is even pre-Trump being in office. And they're like, you know what? I think that this job, and even one of them gave Tesla, one of these people in one of these committees or whatever, they gave Tesla like tons of money, right? Like Elon Musk has even benefited from one of the people in one of these positions, and he's named this person, and they've had, threats there.
Let me tell you what else he
my
wants
problem
to
with
cut.
them.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
He wants to cut fighter jets and pilots. Why? Quote from Politico. Musk said, manned fighter jets are obsolete in the age of drones. He said, with the 100 emoji to someone else's tweet, drone superiority is the new air superiority. So he shared a video of Chinese drones and said, meanwhile, some idiots are still building manned fighter jets like the F-35. The F-35 has been highly championed by Trump, who thinks this is the greatest thing, right? Who has an affinity for fighter pilots. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But Musk wants to take us in this all technology.
I wonder how fighter pilots feel about that. Well, let's ask this question. And you guys, honestly, let's have the conversation. Okay. So I guess the first basic question is, do you think that we should have fighter pilots? Yes or no? Kim, do you think that we should have fighter pilots? And why?
I do.
Why?
Maybe okay. Let's just go down this road together.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. Let's have the conversation. Why should we have fighter pilots?
So there are some decisions, and I know there's a human sitting in a room somewhere making decisions for drones.
Right.
But there are some decisions that humans need to be able to make right there at the moment behind the controls.
Okay.
I'm not ready to let go of that yet until you can truly show me that one is more superior than the other. Then I think we should have both technologies available to us, depending on the need and the situation. And I'm not convinced that when we do things all online, when we do things like that with drones, that there's no potential for hacking or for something to go wrong. I'm not ready to let go of the old ways yet.
Right.
And I feel like the human response is more valuable than maybe Musk realizes.
Yeah. I feel like by separating the human more and more from war, it makes killing people easier, right?
Yeah.
I feel like when war becomes more and more like a video game, we see the loss of life more like a video game, right? Like it's easier to press the button when it's as easy to kill someone as pressing a button, right? Like, think about it. If I had to kill you with my bare hands, it would be really hard. If I had to use a knife, it would be hard, but less, right? Maybe. If I had to use it, and every step away that I take from that act, it likely becomes I don't know. I want to use the word easier, but easier, right? It becomes quicker. I become separated from the actual act. And so for me, that would be my number one thing is I think war should be hard. It should be a hard decision to make. And I think that whenever we use men and women to fight as weapons, which is what soldiers are to me. Like when you decide in my mind to become part of the military, you are a human weapon, right? Like that is what you are. The government tells you to go into an area and they use you as a weapon in whatever capacity that is. And when you're used in that way, you don't have a say, right? They tell you what to do and you do it. And so if they take that out, it becomes way too easy to take people out. And I don't like that idea. Right.
I don't disagree. I really don't.
I don't like that idea. And so, and some people are mentioning, Elon would benefit, this whole idea of Starlink satellites using drones. I didn't even think about stuff like that.
Right.
Probably, would he be getting contracts for stuff like that? War should not be an easy decision. It shouldn't be an easy decision. Now, I'll be devil's advocate. Would I like our men and women and our troops not to be in harm's way?
Absolutely.
Right?
We
Absolutely.
don't want people to die. No.
Right? I would much rather not see our men and women going into areas, sweeping for bombs or IEDs and things like that. I'd much rather send in a robot to do that sort of stuff.
Listen,
Absolutely.
There are points where it makes sense.
Yes.
Where we can use that technology where it makes sense. And there are other times where maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I just feel like the more we take humans, though, out of also jobs, where are we putting these men and women? Where do they go? When you're going to say, okay, we don't need fighter pilots anymore. Okay, what do we do with our fighter pilots? Right. Go ahead, have that conversation with these men and women that have been training for this and have been dreaming of this job. Go ahead, tell them what are we doing with them anymore? Have that conversation.
A lot of fighter pilots at the end of that career transition to being commercial pilots. And those are commercial pilots that are, battle tested and able to handle stress. Remember Captain Sullenberger?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. We
like
do have a pilot shortage.
That's true. I'm just saying, but what a great ground to train these people to be ready to handle any and all capability. Or does Musk want us all to be on planes piloted by auto? Like no one by the controls, just like
I don't like that idea.
Just like the robo taxis, we'll be flying on robo planes. Is that the future?
No.
Is this whole Department of Government efficiency a ruse to bring in all this high tech stuff to eliminate all these jobs and to just make this all happen faster? Is that what this is?
No, I don't want my life put in the hands of robots. I'm not even comfortable getting into one of those, cruise robotaxis. How many of you have done that? I know I have a friend that works at KCBS and he's taken them a million times. Yeah. And I'm like, have you really? And he's like, yeah, all the time. Yeah. And he was one of the ones that did the pilot thing. And I was like, oh, hell no. Yeah. I could barely, I told you guys a story. I couldn't even get into a Tesla. I was like, you think I know? I haven't even figured out how to get into and out of a Tesla. I'm not getting into or out of a Cruise or a Waymo or anything like that. That's not happening. I don't even care that I can't figure it out. I don't want to figure it out. You call me a Luddite if you want to. But yeah, no. I have zero desire for it also. Does anyone else find comfort in the age that they're at? And I had this, okay, I'm going to go off on a little tangent. Are you ready?
Carrie, go for it.
Okay.
Bring it on. I'm taking a drink.
Okay. I had this kind of I don't know if it was a midlife crisis because I'm in my 40s. I'm approaching 50, closer and closer and closer. Kim, you feel me? I'm not at 50.
Well, I feel you.
I'm not at 50. I'm in my mid 40s, but it's coming ever closer. And so it's kind of, I feel like I'm bridging this gap between being too old for, just the youngin stuff, but understanding the young stuff, but wanting to just kind of stay in the analog age, right? I want to be. I look at the boomer era, right? That's dying off. Sorry, guys, but you're getting to that age, right? And just really looking at you guys and being like, you had it good, right? You had it good. Life seems to be moving so quickly. I have kids that I'm trying to raise, and I'm discussing what they should major in college. And I look at them and I'm like, I have no effing idea what you should major in college. I have no idea what the world's going to look like because the world is moving so quickly. And I feel for them, and there was this moment where I was just like, I wish that it would kind of slow down a little bit. I wish for the days of the 90s. I loved the 90s. I wish for the 90s. The 90s were awesome because you want to know why the 90s were awesome? Because we kind of were at the beginning of the internet, but everything was kind of cool. And technology was just kind of starting, and it was new, but we didn't have enough of it, right? We didn't know what we had. And so I don't know, that was my little tangent there where we were so innocent and we didn't know it was coming. And I just kind of long for those days.
Yeah.
So
I hear you.
I just those were the days, but now we're stuck in these days and it just seems to be moving so quickly and I just don't know what's coming, but I try to stay positive and it is what it is. But, we just got to stay thankful for what we have and keep it going. But speaking of the 90s, can I just tell you what I've been watching lately? And it's going to I believe me, I'm going to tie it into something newsworthy, okay? You know what show I've been watching?
What?
I don't know why I started watching it again. The show Ally McBeal.
Oh, I like that show.
Did anyone else watch the show Ally McBeal? So it was back in I think it started like the late 90s, 96, 97 era. Okay. So I started watching it and I started watching the first season of it. Okay. And I'm still in the first season. And do you want to know what stood out to me in the first season? And the very first episode that they had was she starts and she goes into the law firm. And she had to go to the bathroom. And do you remember what was unique about the bathrooms?
No.
Anybody remember what was unique about the bathrooms in Ally McBeal? Anybody?
Was there a shared sink with men and women?
It was a unisex bathroom. Okay. And it was very, very funny because the moment it happens, there was this comment about like, it makes women and men like get over everything and collaborate better and the awkwardness and everything like that. And it was just like a one-liner. Everyone got over it. Right. And I was like, how funny is that? And then maybe like 10 episodes or so into it, they have this whole transgender episode. Okay. Now the language that's used in it, I don't know if it would really kind of hold up today. Instead of transgender, they use the word transvestite, which is not the same, by the way. But they mentioned gender dysphoria. They try to get somebody off for sex work by saying that for the insanity defense because they were transgender. So it was but it was just a really interesting episode. From 1997.
They were trying.
It's 2024. And I feel like they were making more headway.
Yeah.
In 1997 than we are in 2024. Ohio's freaking governor just signed a transgender bathroom ban for students. Now, I get it. It's like it's not that it bans like single-use bathrooms and all that sort of stuff, but I'm just like, sometimes, like we were talking about earlier, I feel like we need to repeat history because we never effing learned it like the first, the second, the third time sometimes. You know what I mean?
They're so silly.
It's
They're just
insane.
Focusing on the like something. Ooh, look over here, shiny. Pay attention to this. Don't pay attention to the actual real priorities of the country.
Right.
It's just such a dumb thing.
Right.
It just just go to the bathroom and mind your own business and don't worry about the other people.
Right.
You know who you should worry about? You should worry about the real sex offenders that we're putting into positions of power. How about we worry about those people rather than worry about people that you think might be a threat, but haven't ever proven or shown that they are a threat.
Right.
Well, you've got accused sexual assaulters being thrown into the Trump cabinet. Why don't we worry about that? Isn't that more of a priority?
Exactly. It's just, I feel like we create, and who keeps saying it? Eric, again, the trans thing is a manufactured issue and a hateful one. I feel like we create these big issues. Now, Vicky, she's like, personally, I don't want to share a bathroom with men. Are you kidding? But personally, if I was in the bathroom stall, I'm not sharing a bathroom with a man ever. I'm not. If I'm in a stall, I'm always, as a woman, using my own bathroom. If I stepped out of a bathroom and a man was using a urinal, I'd probably be like, oh, and I'd probably go right out.
They don't put a urinal in a woman's bathroom.
But if I was in a bathroom, let's say I walked into the wrong bathroom,
if you walked
and I walked into a stall
and you saw a bunch of penises, you'd be like, "Oh my God, my bad, I'm sorry," and you'd leave.
But if I'm in a bar, I'm going to create a totally made up situation. I'm at a bar. I've been drinking too much. I walk into a bathroom. I walk into the stall. I don't even notice urinals. I walk into the stall. I pee. I get out. And now there's a man standing at a urinal peeing. And I go, shoot, I am in the men's bathroom. I would probably just walk out. I'd be like, and I'd keep going. Like, that would be the entirety of the worst thing that happened is I have not washed my hands, right? Like, that would be the entirety of the situation. It's not an issue. And you know what happens most in most places nowadays? They make individual bathrooms. That is pretty much what most, at least bars and restaurants that I go to, most have individual bathrooms. I mean, it's a reduction of bathrooms now, right? But I just feel like this whole bathroom issue is a non-issue. It's make individual stalls, go into this. It's like porta potties, right? If you go to a concert that has porta potties, nobody gives a crap. Just go into the porta potty that you want to and be disgusted by yourself, right? It's not a big deal. Like, just go. It's again, I feel, Eric, you're absolutely right. We have made bathrooms this issue of our time, which really what we're saying is, and I love all the men in my life. Basically what we're saying, and men should be really offended, men are perverts, because that's all we're really saying is men are perverts. That's what we're saying. Because we think that men can't handle being around women in bathrooms.
Right.
We think all men are perverts, and that transgender women, this is what people that don't understand what transgender women are, that transgender women, these people think are men. And so because all men are perverts, that transgender women are men and men are perverts. So if they're in the bathroom, they're going to do something to women. That's what they're saying. And that's wrong. That's wrong.
We even have to talk about it. Yeah. Because it's just so dumb. You know what? And I'm sorry, Vicky, because I really like you. But listen, when I'm in the ladies, I'm in charge of what's happening in my stall. And I don't really care what's going on in the one next to me.
Exactly.
I just don't. If there is a man who's not trans who happens to be using the stall next to me, I don't care. I'm in charge of my little space.
Right.
Whatever
courtesy flush. That's all I ask for. You know what I mean? Do a little courtesy flush. If you're doing number 2, that's all I care about. You know what I mean?
What kind of embarrassing noises are you making that you don't want someone of the opposite gender to hear you?
Exactly.
Like nothing.
So
you're in and you're out. You're doing your business. You're getting out there as quick. It's not a lounge.
Exactly.
I don't know what and that we have to take time to talk about it seems so asinine.
It's dumb. And again,
there's like real problems in the world.
Exactly.
Like, honestly, that's what we're gonna worry about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Eddie, you're right. I've seen women at concerts where the line is huge going to my friend. I mean, we have a memorable story where she just like walked into the men's bathroom and she's just like, I have got to go. And it's not a big, go to the bathroom. Everyone has to do it. Go pee, get out. That's it. Yeah. Just go. And again, it is
your
totally
business, get your job done and go.
Did you hear though, speaking of the transgender issue, who thinks she can beat Kamala Harris if Kamala Harris runs for governor?
Who? Oh,
Caitlyn
Jenner.
Now, I'm going to ask you, do you think if Caitlyn Jenner ran against Kamala Harris that she would win in California?
I'd like to say 100% no. But given the fact of what just happened with this election,
What do you guys think?
No faith in the American electorate. I have no idea.
In California. We're not talking about the United States.
Yeah,
In California, do you think Caitlyn Jenner could beat Kamala Harris in California for California governor?
Well, Californians love some celebrity, don't they?
But Caitlyn Jenner was not a Kardashian. Now let's keep it under control here. She was not even a top. She wasn't even a top card. She wasn't even a Kardashian. She wasn't even a popular one. I mean, I will say this, and again, I'm not trying to dead name, but she was more popular on the show when she was Bruce Jenner. Okay, I'm just going to say that. I'm not trying to dead name, but I'm just saying on the show before she was, because she talked mad shit about the Kardashians. But I'm just saying Caitlyn was more popular. She hasn't done much since then. She plays golf. I mean, she's not much of a celebrity. And then she goes on some of these talk shows, and that's it. I would not call Caitlyn Jenner a celebrity like a Kardashian celebrity anymore. I think she's more of a political pundit. But as a celebrity in California, not really. Not really. I don't know.
I'd like to say that's not a real viable choice. I mean,
she says she'd like to take her on.
Other than being a runner and an Olympian, what's the political qualifications?
I mean, what's the political qualifications of anybody? I mean, to be governor, I think you need
of Kamala Harris?
No. I mean, of Caitlyn Jenner.
That's what I'm asking. There aren't any qualifications.
None.
Right.
No, you're absolutely correct. I mean, I feel like, but again, because she has some sort, I mean, what was up with, Steve Garvey? What was it? He was a baseball player.
Landslide, exactly.
He was a baseball player. That's it.
Maybe Californians are too smart for that kind of stuff. I don't know.
I mean, again, that's all. He got pretty far just because he was a baseball player. That's pretty much it. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, she's apparently telling people that she would literally beat Kamala Harris in a landslide if she ran for governor. I do not think so. So sorry.
I'd like to say no.
Yeah, exactly. You know who else is washed up though? Mr. Rudy Giuliani tells a judge he's completely out of cash in his defamation ruling. He says his financial situation has become so dire as a result of a court order that he can pay election workers $150 million. In late October, a judge ordered Giuliani to hand over his assets as payment for the election workers, whom he falsely accused of being complicit in the steal the vote BS. Those assets included $6 million of a New York penthouse, a signed Joe DiMaggio jersey, a 1980s Mercedes that was once owned by Lauren Bacall.
Wow.
I know, right? Giuliani also had to give up a collection of valuable watches, one of which was gifted to him by world leaders after the September 11th attacks. I don't think I could muster up one tear for Rudy Giuliani. He was doing those cameos, and now Lauren Boebert was trying to do those cameos for like $250, and then they made her stop it like right afterwards because there was like, you can't.
It's against the law.
Yeah,
you're just a member of Congress. You can't do that. No.
She's such an asshat.
I was reading an article about the person that does the artist that does the sketches in court.
Right.
And they were saying Rudy Giuliani is losing it. Like, this is bad. He's trying to tell his lawyers what to do, and when they're standing up at the near the judge at what they call it, sidebar, he's barking orders across the court, like nonsensical stuff that doesn't make sense. It's like he's not quite right.
Yeah.
He really isn't right.
Well, I mean, he hasn't been right since he's kind of jumped on the Trump train. I mean, remember when and again, we didn't know what it was, dye or shoe polish. Remember when he was like sweating all that stuff down? I mean, again, the Four Seasons thing. I mean, he was, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's his he was losing it from a long time ago, but yeah, I just feel
Trump rewards loyalty, and Rudy's been awfully loyal. And it might be that Rudy is in such a bad way that it's obvious even to Trump and team. And that's why they haven't named him as a cabinet pick yet.
Well,
right?
he like Trump like distanced himself. Remember, I think Rudy was like saying, "Trump, pay me, pay me, pay me," and Trump was like, "No, that's not what I do. Like, I don't pay."
He held some fundraiser for him at his New Jersey golf club.
Oh, did
trying
he?
to
I
get
don't
some
know.
money together for him. So
Yeah,
like
I don't
there's
know.
some part of him that still wants to help Rudy, but I've noticed that Rudy doesn't seem to be getting a job yet.
Yeah, I mean, and times are tough. Rudy needs money, you know. I mean, with all these tariffs coming up, you never know. You never know.
Rudy needs some help.
Exactly. All right. Well, okay, that's enough with politics. It's Thanksgiving. Okay, so let's lighten things up just a bit. So tomorrow's Thanksgiving. So you're in Disneyland. Are you
I'm in
eating?
Disneyland.
Are you where do you eat for Thanksgiving in Disneyland?
So we have made reservations at a buffet, the character buffet.
Okay.
So the characters will come around and visit on Thanksgiving.
And do they serve turkey and everything like that?
Yeah, they have a whole like Thanksgiving.
How fun is that?
As a matter of fact, every restaurant in Disneyland changes their menu on Thanksgiving Day.
That is so
no matter
awesome.
where you go, if it's the fancy Blue Bayou or if it's to a buffet or wherever, it's all going to be Thanksgiving spread.
Oh, that is now. Is it packed? Are the lines crazy?
At some times of the day, no, not at all. And at
Okay.
some times of the day, yes. I think after work, from what I've talked to a lot of Southern Californian folks that are here, they will sometimes get off of work and look at the line queues, and if they see, oh, it's 15 minutes to get on these popular rides, they just head over because it doesn't cost them anything because they have the passes,
Right.
or maybe it'll cost them $50 to come in. I was riding on a train last night with two girls that got off work and just decided they have passes and they were coming to Disneyland. So that's kind of a Southern California thing. So it depends on the time of day and what's going on here. But for the most part, I was getting off the monorail and I heard one staff member say to another, "Oh, look how few people there are. I love fall." So, yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
I really feel like Disneyland for Thanksgiving is like most people think Christmas, but I've never thought of Disneyland for Thanksgiving. Now, is your sister there?
So it's
Or
all
anything?
It's all decorated for Christmas.
Oh, it is already. Oh, I didn't know if it was.
It's
Okay.
all the holiday decorations are up. As a matter of fact, you can meet with Santa and get your picture taken. The tree is on Main Street, so all of these things are happening. But no, it's just the four of us. The rest of my family is back in Petaluma.
Oh, that is very, very nice. Okay, so Thanksgiving tomorrow, we're just going to my mother-in-law's house. How many of you, let us know in the comments, since it's just you and your husband and your two kids, how many of you are avoiding Thanksgiving conversations this Thanksgiving? So my family's in town. My father is a Trumper, but we've learned. So I'm not really worried about any political conversations. Anybody really worried about Trumper conversations or political conversations? I'm not really. I mean, we haven't had any of those situations in my family for a long time. I mean, I know. Well, I don't know. This is a new election, so I don't know how this Thanksgiving is going to go. I'm hoping they're listening, and I'm saying no. Anybody worried about it? I know that there are some people that are just not going. I mentioned earlier, like Jesse Waters' mom is not inviting them.
Yeah.
I would hope. This is what I'm going to say. I would hope that given that Trump's going to be in office in January, like enjoy the last Thanksgiving before he is, if that's how your family is going to be, right? Like get it in now or don't. Vicky said, I said no thanks to one invitation because there were Trumpers there. Did you, Vicky, did you say that that's why you weren't going to go? Because that's awkward. Like, how do you say that?
I think it requires the Trumpers and the never Trumpers to all agree
not
that
to talk
politics
about it.
is a no-go.
Yeah.
All of politics. We can talk about anything else under the sun, but no politics. Because these are family members that you still love, that you still hopefully want to have relationships with, that maybe someday will come over the other side of whatever they're feeling, right? I feel like we should be able to agree not to talk politics, but I do know that there are some people who would laugh at that and say, forget it, it's my house, we're talking about what I want to talk about, and if I want to talk about Trump, then I'll talk about Trump.
But like,
And
why
that's when
talk
you
about
say,
it? Ugh.
you know, please have a lovely Thanksgiving and
Deuces.
enjoy your turkey. We'll see you next time.
Vicky
Bye.
told the truth. Vicky said, I told the truth. I'm not
Okay.
going. Wow.
What was the reaction to that?
Yeah, Vicky, what?
Vicky?
Oh,
Were they
and she
like,
said it to,
"Oh."
she said it to the hostess who's a non-Trumper.
Oh,
Okay.
so they had understood. Yeah.
She's like, I just can't go.
Mhm.
Sorry. Yeah. Eric said, nope. All I'm making is a brief call to my sister, and I don't think politics will come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, so obviously I would, and I've said this so many times before, because you guys all know that my dad's a big old Trumper. I will never miss a time to hang out with my family because life's too short. Right. And I'll never miss a holiday to be with my dad because life's too short. But I will purposely tell him to shut the F up because life is too short to have conversations about that crap. But that's the relationship I have with my own dad. Not everybody can do that. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody could be like, shut the F up. I'm not talking about this with you because they don't have that. Vilma says, no politics at my house at Thanksgiving, has worked for the last 8 years. Perfect. Let's see. Oh, Cameo says, we're mostly of like mind.
That's nice when that happens.
Oh, that's so nice.
Same with my Petaluma family. We're mostly of like mind, and our discussions are really, really interesting. But I was at my dad's house, I want to say like a year or two ago, and he tried to tell me that they were trying to make my children feel guilty for being white in school with the
No.
what is it? The policy, of teaching history, which
Oh,
really
God,
is
yeah.
they're teaching the truth, right?
Right.
And I tried to explain to him that that's not what it meant, and he's like, "Well, let's
No.
just not talk politics." And I went, "Oh, all right then." And that's the last time we talked politics.
You want to
'Cause
know? I think, yeah.
he
I think-
legitimately believed. I forget what that policy is called. What that is called. But yeah, he really believed that my kids were going to school and they were taught to feel bad for being white. And I'm like,
you know, there's
no,
some
what they're
things.
teaching
Yeah,
them is
no.
that maybe Columbus didn't really discover the New World. Maybe there were people here before that, and maybe we weren't so nice to the Native Americans that were here, and maybe the black people that were slaves, they really didn't want to be slaves. They didn't really like that, and maybe we really abused people and treated them badly in this country. And I don't understand what the bad thing is about learning the truth. You want to get fed and sucked down a bunch of lies in school, or do you want your kids walking away knowing the hard truth?
And when people say like, why do you make people feel bad about being white? I go, why do you think that you're white? Like, why does white apply to you? Like, you're fill in the blank, right? Like, that's the whole thing. White isn't something. Like, white isn't anything. Like, you're German, you're French, you're whatever, right? Like, white isn't. White is a term, right? Like, it's a privilege. It's kind of a descriptor about something, right? Like, that's the whole thing. And you know, the whole Columbus thing, because you bring it up because it's Italian, right? And I'm half Italian, and my dad's Italian. Shocker. So that whole Columbus thing was always like, ah! And I'm like, dude, give it up, right? Like, give it up. Everybody knows about Columbus. Like, we don't stop. Just stop. But yeah, it's just people just have to like stop. This is again my opinion. People have to stop having to be so beholden to historical figures that they could have given two shits about 5 seconds ago, right? Like, Columbus, really? You're so beholden to a man just because he was Italian? Really? Like, who cares? He was an asshole, right? Like, that's history, right? Like, yeah, it was great. We learned the story, but let's just learn the whole history of it, and it's fine. Yeah.
Critical race theory. It's called critical race theory. What I mean? Yeah, we heavily disagreed over critical race theory, and that was the last of it. Yeah.
It says here, like, we could just learn the whole history of the whole entire thing, right? Like, yeah, he was Italian. Yeah, the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria, but there was also a whole other thing. You know what I mean? Like, let's just incorporate all of it. Be proud of one part, none of the other, and just incorporate all of it. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah. But yeah, it's so stupid. It's just so stupid. Let's see. Tony says we're hosting a ton of people this year. 3 turkeys.
Wow, that is a ton of people.
There will be drinking, so it goes where it goes. I won't be the one bringing it up though. Maybe. Tony, I love you. I really do. You know, and I like the whole idea of it goes where it goes. But I will say this: once it starts going a place where it goes negative, do what I do in my family. We all right, shut the F up, right? Like, it's too much. and then we just change the subject. Like
Yeah.
we always like have like some sort of like topic or game or some out, right?
Sure.
Like have an out, the football game or something. Like you have to have an out, like something.
Hey, how about
to go
those
to.
Niners? Right.
Something, right? Like what's on the TV or gotta do something. But yeah. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
Vicky's still caught up on the fact that we don't care about going to the bathroom with men. Like,
I go to the bathroom with the door open. I'm Puerto Rican and Italian. I could give two rats. I
just don't care.
I could I do not even care. My
as long
husband,
as he's not in my stall, it's fine.
Could not even care less. I really, honestly, I don't even care. Oh, WKRP in Cincinnati, baby. Yeah, the turkey drop. As God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly.
I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a story for you.
Yes.
Because I know that you're a roller coaster. Okay.
Yes.
You love a good roller coaster. I on the other hand, avoid them like the plague. But you, my thrill-seeking, spicy food-loving friend,
that's me.
This is your jam. Horror movie-loving friend.
So
this video is like maybe a minute 40.
Okay.
And it's about this guy who realizes, and he's like a big loop-de-loop-de-loop. He realizes his lap belt is not working.
Oh no.
And he's just about to go down the loop-de-loop. And he's probably going to fly out the roller coaster to his death. And so he takes a chance on living life. And here's what happens. And I will show you this crazy story from KPHO and KTVK. Here's Emma Lockhart.
Man stood up in his seat and jumped onto the emergency staircase just seconds before that big drop. And you can actually see a portion of that coaster behind me where it heads up to the highest point. The man who spoke to us says this was a terrifying experience that should have never happened. A celebration at Castles and Coasters Sunday nearly turned tragic for one Valley man.
Yeah, it was just adrenaline, and I didn't want to die that day.
He didn't want to show his identity, but describes the terrifying moment when he says his lap bar unlocked.
I heard a click noise that was different from the chain taking us up the hill. And I checked my lap bar, and it released.
This video shows the moment he stood up in his seat and jumped out onto the emergency staircase with just seconds to spare. He believes he could have been killed if it wasn't for his quick thinking.
It could have been one of the 11-year-olds.
My God.
It could have been somebody younger. It could have been somebody older, not as agile, right?
He says the manager offered him a refund and took a report. It feels like his concerns were not heard. Here in Arizona, the state does not oversee regulations of amusement park rides, but requires rides to be inspected at least once a year. State law says it's up to municipalities and counties to enforce compliance.
100% more regulation within the state, better training for the employees. I think that actually them checking the bars themselves, making sure that they're actually latched.
And we called and emailed Castles and Coasters several times today to try and get in touch with the manager or the owner about this incident, but have not heard back.
Yeah.
I will not be going there. Oh my God.
It's hard to describe what happened inside a new.
I thought that was fascinating. Though the guy has the presence of mind to go, ooh,
I'm getting out of this.
Good. Right before he jumps out of the roller coaster. How crazy is that? Yeah.
You know what's interesting is like, so just because I go on so many roller coasters, what's interesting is that that bar wasn't attached to any of the other seats, because oftentimes
they all go down as a unit.
Yeah, they kind of go down as a unit, like, you know, this one and that one, like, because they all go up and down. That's scary.
In Disneyland, often you have your own little cart, not the roller coasters, but the rides. And so the bar will just click into place, you know, depending on your size. It goes, if you're a little kid, it goes all the way down, right? For a grown up, it just kind of goes as far as it'll go, and then it'll click in. And
I would be deathly afraid. Oh my God, I would be so deathly afraid. I'm just saying that if that happened to me, I know somebody is saying Kim's frozen right now, but Ren's like a bottle. No, you're back. A bottle of tequila and a parachute. No, lifetime tickets, or I don't know, money. Yeah. Like you have to pay me. I don't. And what's interesting is that he didn't want to show his face. Like, I wonder why he didn't want to show his face.
Oh no.
But he's very smart. Ren's like, the guy's smart. I would have tried to just hold on. I wouldn't have made that.
I would have just been holding on for dear life, like wrap myself around that thing.
I wonder what I would have done. I mean, I think that he's very smart. That is.
But can you imagine, like, there's got to be a gap between the roller coaster cart and the stairway. You're kind of taking a chance as it's moving past to jump.
And then think if he had a kid with him or somebody else, like you had to convince that like, thank God he was by himself. Can you imagine if you were with your
fine,
kid?
I'm just getting off here.
Like, but like, think about it. If you were with your kid and you're like, get up, like, you know what I mean? Like, you were able to think in a split second, but now try to convince somebody else to get up. No, like, oh my God, somebody was watching out for that guy. My heart's beating fast for him. Like, yeah, lawsuit later. Like, I'm not showing my face because I'm going to sue their ass. I swear to God. No. Now I'm always going to check it. Like, I don't know. I always check it anyway.
Check it for your kids. Check it for yourself. Check it for everybody.
He even said, he's like, check the bar. Like, do they not come around and check it? That's Arizona for you.
I thought they always came around. Maybe
that's Arizona for you. Maybe they just don't do it. That's, that's what you get.
Watch yourself at Castles and whatever it was. God.
Wow, that's crazy, crazy, crazy. Well, what else? Okay, so I'm not doing any amusement parks. I did see Wicked, by the way. Anybody else see Wicked? I am just telling you, lived up to all the expectations. I never saw the musical. I never saw the play. My daughter, by the way, apparently has seen she's seen it all. I guess she never saw the play. I know she never saw the play, but she knew the music and she's read the book, which I never read the book. Loved it. Me and her were crying. My son went. He loved it. But all three of us went. My husband didn't want to go. All three of us went. Absolutely loved it. Almost 3 hours long.
It's only part one.
And it's only part one.
There's going to be a part two. Yeah.
It was so good. I'm telling you, never like looked at the clock ever. Like it moved. Ariana Grande, the comedic performance of her, and I forgot how funny she was because she was an actress. She started as an actress. So funny. She's so funny as Glinda. She's really, really funny in it. Cynthia Erivo is, her voice is so good. Go see it. I'm not Tim Sika, but so effing good.
So Tim Sika said he thinks that this will be nominated come Oscar time in every single category.
It was the music was so good. I saw one person though on TikTok that didn't like the beginning because they said that Munchkinland or whatever wasn't colorful enough. They thought it was a little drab. But I was like, whatever. But other than that, I thought it was so, and because I'd never seen it before, so it was all new to me.
Right.
I loved it. I thought it was so, so good. And again, because I was a total newbie, it was really good. And the whole hold your space, for Defying Gravity. I've never heard any of these songs before. I'm total newbie. I'd never heard any of the songs.
Defying Gravity is a showstopper. Popular. That's a good one.
God, I was crying. I'd heard the song Popular by the way. I've heard that song before. Yeah. But my God, such a good, such. So if you have any time this weekend, go see that. The new Pleasanton Costco's opened if you want to wait in line for that. Anybody doing Black Friday? Here's a question for you, Kim. Do you think, given the tariff threat, that Black Friday is going to be bigger this year?
I think so. I've heard a lot of people say you've got to stock up on stuff. Yes. Businesses saying we've got to fill our supply rooms because we don't know what's coming. So
I'm wondering.
It wouldn't surprise me if people bought not only for others but for themselves and really stocked up.
I'm not a big consumer person, honestly, because I will say this. Okay, this is what I'm buying, and I'm just going to be completely honest. I am looking for, because we're doing our big trip across the country, I'm looking for all sorts of things. So I am buying, I'm waiting to buy our amusement park season passes because they go on sale. So I'm going to buy those. I'm looking actually at RV or car rental sales because we're still debating whether or not we're going to do RV or car rentals and anything to do with our trip. So anything to do with our trip, that's what I'm looking for. So anything to do with that, I'm buying. But other than that, the kids are pretty much done. So, but
when is the trip?
It's next summer. So it's going to be the
Okay.
end of June into July.
All right.
So that's pretty much my summer. My son goes to Washington, D.C. for his 8th grade after 8th grade.
Yeah.
And once he comes home from Washington, D.C., we out.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I'm thinking this might be a good time to start buying crap because
Yeah.
I don't know if this tariff thing is all rhetoric or not, but there were people outside the Pleasanton Costco apparently for Pappy Van Winkle bourbon or some sort of crap and Pokemon cards. There was some sort of Pokemon thing going on as well. So, but whatever.
So I guess it wouldn't affect, maybe, I don't know. Would it affect things that are made in the USA? You know, most of the food you're going to buy is probably going to be made here, right?
Right.
Most of the paper products or toiletries likely made in the US, I would guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just for stuff made overseas.
You know what I've also seen a lot of people buying, and I don't know if it's Christmas time, so they do that. Cars, because nothing is 100% American made. I'm sorry, Trump. Cars are not 100% American made in the United States.
No,
Parts,
they
everything
make
like that.
components overseas and then they ship them here to
Overseas.
be put together.
So
Right.
I know 2 people within the past week that have bought a car. So I don't know if that's tariff
Wow.
related or not, but
Probably.
it's holidays too. So who knows? And end of the year, it's always a good time to buy a car anyway. But yeah, it's just get a rental car that doesn't have California plates. But I'm just saying, like, it might behoove you just to possibly, if you're gonna buy anything anyway, maybe before Trump gets into office, just in case.
This
we
is
shall
smart
see.
because they last. Teacher
Yeah.
Lori says stock up on batteries from China because that's where they, I guess, are made. So that makes sense.
You know what else I'm watching? You know, what's going to happen to things like Shein, all these fast fashion places, Amazon? Like, what's going to happen where we get all this, and I'm going to say the crap, but just cheap crap from China? I don't know. It is going to be so interesting to see if this is going to happen.
Anyway, it's stuff
I
you
know.
don't really want or need anyway. But also,
But
it's
it trickles
so cheap
down
that some people can't help it. But if
Yeah.
that $10 top that looks like such a bargain is now going to be $35, $40, it's not such a bargain anymore.
What I know, but I mean, but I don't think we actually know how many things we buy has that in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, a lot of the crap we use, we're like, oh, it's not fast fashion, but we use it, is overseas. So, you know, it's gonna be interesting. I want to know how much is rhetoric, how much is really gonna happen. And, you know, what's all talk and what's all Trump and what's really going to happen. So Eric says tariffs will allow local manufacturers to raise their prices since the competition is more expensive. And that's another thing. How many people are going to hide behind this? You know what I mean? Just like COVID and all that kind of crap. But I will say this before we go. It'll fall on Trump. And the one thing that Democrats can totally say, don't blame us. At least now you can't blame us when you're bitching and moaning about the high prices and all that kind of crap. When your gas and your eggs aren't free or $1 or anything else, don't come crying to us because that's not how it apparently works. So yeah, that'll just be great. At least we won't get blamed for it. 99 cents store now $5. Phineas says exactly. So at least we won't have that. All right. That is our show. Thank you all for being here on Wednesday instead of Thursday, but have a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous Turkey Day. If you can, you guys, please support the show any way you can, either Patreon, PayPal, Super Chat, whatever way you can. We always do appreciate it, and we love you guys for being here. TheNikkiMadoroShow.com is the way to support the show. You can find all of the links there. Another delicious way to support the show is through our sponsor. Auntie Tabby's Island Flavor is our barbecue sauce. It's a guava barbecue sauce that Auntie Tabby's makes. And she's from Jamaica. It is authentic. It's a guava barbecue sauce. And if you use the coupon code NIKKIM, NIKKIM, you get 10% off every single time you order. And this sauce is so delicious. And it not only supports our show if you use the coupon code, it also supports kids in Jamaica. So she has the biggest heart and it's so delicious. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Go to TheNikkiMadoroShow.com. Support us. We appreciate it so, so very much. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. Take care of each other. Don't argue. Life is too short. We appreciate you guys so very much. And we will see you back here next Thursday.
Yep.
The cocktails and news. Thank you, Kim. Have fun with your family in Disneyland.
Happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Happy Thanksgiving. I love you guys.
Yep.
Mwah. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. Miss Brown, like a beautiful blossom. You're all so the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.